Hello everybody and welcome to my Stamina Nightblade update. In this video we're gonna take a look into what changed for Nightblades with Elsweyr and how I adapted the build. I know I'm a little bit late to the party, but still. I'm gonna link the original build video in the description in case you want a more in-depth version, since this one's only a quick update. So let's jump right into it. First skill we changed is the first skill on the front bar. We swapped out Killer's Blade for Piercing Mark. So with the changes to surprise attack, we no longer get the major fracture buff from it. That is the reason why we run Mark. Finally, we got a way to stay on top of Nightblades who cloak a lot. We get the fracture and we get a heal when our enemy dies. I might actually switch to the other morph because it gives you major berserk when an enemy dies with the mark on for 5 seconds, and that's very strong if you're outnumbered. We don't have an execute anymore, but surprise attack does a lot of damage. We'll use that now. That being said, you still could run Killer's Blade here if you don't want to give up on the execute. You'll miss out on about 5.3k penetration though, so keep that in mind. Second skill stays the same. They took away minor berserk from Relentless Focus as well as the minor endurance, by the way. But ambush now gives us minor vulnerability on the enemy for 8 seconds, so we're not losing out on damage, but it's now a debuff on the enemy instead of a buff for us, which means it can be cleansed off, so keep that in mind. Number 3, surprise attack, still gonna be our spammable. It got the major fracture taken away from it, but it still hits hard as hell, and it stuns and sets off balance if used from stealth. Plus, now it gives us 5% penetration when we hit an enemy from the side or from behind. So that works really well with the Wood Elf passives. Roll dodge through an opponent and surprise attack them from the back gives you 1.5k penetration from the passive and 5% from the surprise attack. At that point, it might actually be nice to consider Eternal Hunt, since it places the rune after the dodge roll. So you could dodge roll through your opponent and then surprise attack them from behind, which, you know, it places the rune that will explode and you get the penetration bonus. Number 4, Relentless Focus. It's now giving us 3% less damage taken for each stack, going up to 5 stacks. Overall, that gives you 15% less damage taken. That makes us so tanky, which is awesome. It no longer gives us the minor berserk nor the minor endurance, which I mentioned earlier, but it got its duration increased to 30 seconds, and as long as we're within 7 meters of the enemy, we get healed for 33% of the damage done. That can actually be quite nice, although not 100% reliable since you can't block or dodge that easily. Number 5, Rally, stays the same. For our ultimate ability, we switched to Dawnbreaker of Smiting. So they took away the Major Defile and the stun from Incap and gave it a CC breakable silence. In my opinion, that makes the ability very strong against magical builds and almost useless against stamina builds. It also gives you quite a bit of regen now, which is not really necessary, but kinda nice, I guess. So I'm using Dawnbreaker now because it gives you a 3% weapon damage increase, good damage, a good dot, and it's an AoE stun. I always considered running this ulti, but with the nerfs to Incap, I'm finally at the point of using it. I briefly considered running Soul Harvest, but that will leave us with only a surprise attack from stealth or a heavy attack on an off-balanced enemy as stuns, which is definitely not enough in my opinion. We don't run the two-handed ultimate because its strength comes from ignoring resistances, and we spec'd into penetration, so the Spriggan's 5-piece bonus would not have any effect on the ulti. Therefore, we don't use that. If you really want to run it though, you could change out Spriggan's for a weapon damage set, maybe Hundings. That being said, if you find a skill you want to switch out, I'd really suggest running Mass Hysteria. It's super strong this patch. But if you want to run that, you might want to go for more Max Magicka. So maybe run Spring-Loaded Infusion. That's basically a tri-stat drink that procs your Bone Pirate, which gives you quite a lot of max stats. Backbar stays the same, but I will mention that there's new potions available now with the new alchemy ingredients that drop from Dragon World bosses and Elsweyr. With those you can make a health stam and lingering health potion, which is definitely something interesting, although you will lose out on the major savagery, making you miss out on 10% crit chance. So this video was a little different than the others I put out. I figured gameplay in the background would be more interesting than my character, beautiful as he is, standing there and doing nothing. So please let me know what you think about that format. That is all for today. If you have any comments or questions, leave them in the comment section below, message me on Facebook or Twitter, or check out one of my Twitch streams. Thank you so much for watching and see you next time.